Alrighty guys, we have some crazy gaming news for you today. Sony takes down PS5 Pro video from known tech YouTuber Moore's Law is dead. PS5 Pro Enhanced label reportedly won't require 60 FPS Ultra Boost to benefit most games. Red Dead Redemption 2 new next-gen update. PS Plus player count drops 20% in April despite AAA game giveaway. 25 games leaving PS Plus in May. Ubisoft pulls the Crew 1 from player libraries. Now let's get into it. Remember last month's PS5 Pro video from YouTuber Moore's Law is dead? This video is no longer available following a copyright strike from Sony. We reported on the video from the known tech YouTuber following its release last month. In the video, the YouTuber shared a document about Sony's upgraded PS5 model that offered new details and information about the console. Interesting new details include substantially faster rendering, up to 3 times improved ray tracing performance, and Sony's rumored own upscaling tech, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution aka PSSR. According to Eurogamer's Digital Foundry, this upscaling tech can allow for greatly improved image quality of existing PS5 titles. In addition, the outlet suggested that the Pro model will offer 1.2 gigabytes of additional RAM for games. Fast forward 1 month, this video is no longer available due to a copyright claim by Sony Interactive Entertainment. The link to the video now reads, "While this doesn't necessarily mean that the information or details mentioned in the video were the real deal, recent reports and rumors do seem to indicate that the leaked document was legit." Over the weekend, The Verge's Tom Warren said that the PS5 Pro is real, and Sony is reportedly asking developers to get their games ready over the summer. Here are all the specific details on the PS5 Pro tech. I will not include the documents, but this is the gist of it all. Larger GPU with faster memory, providing 45% improved performance in rasterized rendering. Massively improved ray tracing architecture that should deliver 2 to 3x speedup over the regular PS5, with peaks of 4x. Custom machine learning architecture that supports 300 TOPS or trillions of operations per second at 8-bit. The ML architecture was built to enable the so-called PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution upscaling technique. The leaked document describes it as Sony's version of multi-frame super resolution based on the PlayStation machine learning algorithm. According to the leaked info, PSSR currently supports up to 4K, but there are plans to add 8K support. PSSR is an ML-enhanced version of temporal anti-aliasing upscaling that requires similar inputs to NVIDIA DLSS or AMD FSR and fully supports HDR pipelines. Moreover, no per-game training is required, just like with the latest version of DLSS. The document goes on to say PSSR requires just 250 megabytes of the PS5 Pro's memory, with a current rendering cost of 2 milliseconds to upscale from full HD to 4K, although optimization is still ongoing. The document also includes an image comparison with TAO and AMD FSR2, reportedly showing that PSSR offers superior image quality. Next, I want to talk about something a bit controversial about the PS5 Pro Enhanced label. Remember how I previously said that Sony will require devs the 3 big things for the sticker? Ray tracing plus 60 FPS plus 4K native. Well, Sony is reportedly asking devs to create a PS5 Pro-specific graphics mode for their titles going forward, in addition to the usual quality, performance modes most PS5 games already have, while Sony would like devs to focus their attention on 4K resolution, perhaps with the help of their new PSSR upscaling tech. 60 FPS and improved ray tracing, per The Verge, none of that is strictly required. Okay, don't panic yet. We still got hope. Basically, as long as devs deliver a graphics mode that is better than anything available on the base PS5, they can earn the enhanced label. So for instance, a game can remain 30 FPS on PS5 Pro, but boost its fixed or variable frame rate and pass as enhanced. The Verge gives an example of a 30 FPS game that runs at 1440p on the base PS5 and a full 4K on PS5 Pro, or even a game that runs at a variable 1080p to 1440p on PS5, but between 1280p and 2160p on PS5 Pro passing muster. It can go the other way too. A game could have similar resolution on PS5 and PS5 Pro, but if the devs were to boost the frame rate from 30 FPS to 60 FPS or even 120 FPS, they'd earn that enhanced label. Enabling ray tracing where there wasn't any before without doing much with resolution or frame rate would also count. Again, it just has to be better. But won't earn a game the PS5 Pro Enhanced label is keeping the same basic specs, same target resolution range, same target frame rate, with better results. So if a game is 1440p to 4K on the base PS5 and Pro but runs closer to the high end of that range on Pro, that doesn't count. If a game targets 60 FPS on both the base PS5 and Pro but runs more smoothly on the latter, that doesn't count. developers will actually have to push out a patch to earn the PS5 Pro Enhanced label for older games, but The Verge reports the new hardware will also have a boost mode that should result in better performance for a large portion of games, even if they're not updated. Alright, the boost mode gives me a bit of optimism. Why? Because I hope this boost mode can actually take our non-remastered PS4 games and finally boost it to 60 FPS. You know which game I'm talking about. RDR2, of course. And speaking of Red Dead, we got some news on that too. Last March was the final bell tolling for multiplayer racer The Crew 1, as Ubisoft completed an announced sunsetting of its servers, effectively making the game unplayable. It looks as if the company has decided to go above and beyond that step. It's straight up removing the game from player libraries. Players began reporting that licenses to the racer began disappearing from Ubisoft's digital storefront, along with the game being moved to an inactive games section, and its original store page sharing a message that reads, "You no longer have access to this game. Why not check the store to pursue your adventures?" When approached for comment by Eurogamer, Ubisoft PR gave what amounts to a text version of a shoulder shrug. And I quote, "We announced on December 14, 2023 that after almost a decade of support, we would be decommissioning The Crew 1 on March 31, 2024. While we understand this may be disappointing for players, it was necessary due to server infrastructure and licensing constraints." Unsurprisingly, Ubisoft's move has caused an uproar among gamers, as players were already calling for legislative action, suggesting this is the killing blow for any rogue server plans, and offering multiple references and linkbacks to the Stop Killing Games initiative. Imagine I sell you a fridge, and 5 years later I come to your house and tell you, "Hey, I need to take your fridge away because we, the company, lost the license for it." How does that make sense? The gaming industry has gotten away with some of the most shadiest business practices on the planet. No other business in the world can get away with half the stuff this gaming companies are pulling. It's really weird times we are living in, right? I predict that in the upcoming years, we'll see a wave of lawsuits against these companies. Europe has been suing game companies left and right lately. For example, EA for their gambling system in sports games and loot boxes. And prepare to see some lawsuits against Ubisoft too. Unlike the USA, the European Union takes customer service very seriously. You can put a disclaimer in on the game that, "Hey, dear customer, thank you for buying this game in full price. Just remember that you don't own the game, and we can take it away from you anytime." That shit doesn't fly in Europe. And remember, the EU made Apple use USB-C on the iPhone, so get your popcorn ready because fun times are coming. This is one of the reasons I'm considering getting a PC later this year. But how will that stop companies like Ubisoft from taking my games away? Hear me out. With a PC, I can just buy a cheap hard drive, not SSD, let's say something like 8 terabytes. This is where I'll store all my favorite games. And when devs cancel the game or modify it in the Steam store because they lose a license or other copyright reasons, my vanilla game will not be affected. Furthermore, if they shut down servers and make the game unplayable because of always online nonsense, it won't be an issue. Why? Mods and the modding community. Let's talk PS Plus. It's not looking great. PS Plus monthly games for April 2024 see 20% dip in player count compared to March. Immortals of Aveum is the 6th biggest PS Plus essential game debut of 2024 so far, while Minecraft Legends is the weakest performing game of the month. The 3 games announced for the PlayStation Plus April 2024 lineup, Immortals of Aveum, Skull the Hero Slayer, and Minecraft Legends, were all released on Tuesday, March 2, 2024. Using exclusive data from over 3.1 million active PSN accounts, courtesy of Game Insights, we can see just how many PS5 and PS4 players booted up each of these new PS Plus games and compare them to previous months for insight. Honestly, in my opinion, while Immortals of Aveum is fun, I was surprisingly impressed by the game. But lately, for the past months, PS Plus hasn't really pushed AAA games for the service, and that's why it's losing subscribers. Furthermore, they keep taking games away. It has just been confirmed that 22 games are leaving next month. In the end of the day, if things continue to go in the same direction, I predict that Plus Extra service will lose another 20% of subscribers by the end of the year. And trust me, those are a lot of dollar bills. But what do you think? Do you still see value in the Plus Extra subscription? Red Dead Redemption 2 has received an unexpected update with several new improvements, with fans speculating a current-gen port could be on the way. Rockstar's Western title was released in 2018 to near universal acclaim, sporting impressive visuals and a rich open world on last-gen hardware. And while the game is backwards compatible on current-gen, Fans have wondered if it will get a full upgrade patch like so many other titles this generation, or even a re-release like Grand Theft Auto 5, but this never seemed to materialize, as Rockstar pulled most of its resources to work on the upcoming Grand Theft Auto 6 instead. Many thought this also meant Rockstar wouldn't be updating Red Dead Redemption 2, so it was a surprise when the new 1.32 update was released on March 19th. According to Rockstar's patch notes, a lot of the updates were for general stability and improvements, including fixing the infamous glitch in which players could get stuck when entering a stable or unable to summon horses and wagons. It's some of the performance amendments for PC that sparked speculation, however. In the past couple of months, modder GarbageMan 42069 released a lot of HD texture packs for Red Dead Redemption 2. These packs upgraded the textures of various objects like badges, boats, gravestones, food, and more. However, it was a pain to download each pack separately. And thankfully, the modder has now released a mega pack that contains all of them. This new HD texture pack weighs around 12 gigabytes in size and will overhaul a lot of objects. For instance, you can expect better textures for food, gloves, trains, dynamite, lanterns, and more. Now, the good news here is that from what I've seen, this pack does not cover the terrain, rocks, or the main characters. So for example, it should be compatible with the HD texture pack for terrain, ground and rocks, and vegetation. And here we are, us PS5 peasants, just waiting for a small update so we can play it at 60 FPS 4K. Well, the good news is that I'm reading and hearing from multiple sources that we might get one this year. Fingers crossed, right?